Hi there, this is your friend Anna, and the question that I've been getting the most from all of my friends is, what are we wearing? This age-old question isn't just about choosing an outfit, it's about choosing how we present ourselves to the world. I created the I Want Her Shoes podcast to dive deep into what it means to dress with intention, whether you're heading to a council meeting or just having a casual day out with your family. Join the conversation as we explore the power of personal style and the decisions that shape our public personas. Put on your favorite pair of shoes and step into my closet. All right, welcome back to the I Want Her Shoes podcast, where we explore the powerful intersection of style, success, and substance. I'm your host, Anna, and today we're sitting down with a true force of nature, Victoria Pelletier, executive trailblazer, keynote speaker, board director, and fierce advocate for diversity and inclusion. Thank you so much. Victoria's journey is nothing short of unstoppable, from becoming a CEO at just 24. Wow. Can't wait to hear about that, to leading transformational change across Fortune 500s like IBM, American Express. You've done it all, and with style. But your story doesn't stop at boardrooms and TEDx stages. Victoria brings her full self to every role: mother, mentor, motivator. And today we're pulling back the curtain on how she leads with resilience, shows up with intention, and inspires others to do the same. Victoria, welcome to the show. And let's start from the very beginning. It's a big question. What shaped you as the woman that you are today? So going back to where you got started, where you were born, how you got started, and how did you get to be such a young COO? I guess that probably will give us that answer.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best, Anna, to condense it, because I'm not known for telling short stories. But my why, my purpose, my drive to be unstoppable comes from a very tough early beginning, from trauma and abuse as a young child. That hardened me, quite frankly, but also is what informed my now unstoppable sort of philosophy and nature. I was never going to let circumstance prevent me from achieving a goal or objective that I set for myself. But I was adopted out of my abusive biological mother, into loving family, but lower socioeconomic means.
Yeah.
And so I started working at age 11, which I'm sure child labor laws would not allow today. And by 14, I was in my first leadership role.
Wow, that's awesome.
I was the assistant manager of the shoe store I worked at in high school. and then I worked through university with goals of being a lawyer, but got promoted through the ranks very quickly. And I realized how much I loved the business world. So at one point, when I got promoted and relocated across the country with the bank I worked at, I thought I was just taking a year off before going to law school. And subsequently, I never went. Although I do think I read more contracts now than I might have. But I stayed in the corporate world. I loved it. I love being a leader. And so since then, which is now almost 30 years, I've stayed in the B2B professional services space. I got recruited into that role you mentioned as Chief Operating Officer at age 24, massive stretch role for me, coming out of banking operations, which I'd had quite a bit of experience, but it was a stretch role. You want to talk about imposter syndrome, although we didn't use that phrase back then, but that was pretty real. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's an incredible achievement. And what drove you at that time? And how did you, speaking of imposter syndrome, how did you find the voice in the rooms where you were likely the youngest, the only female?
You're right, I was. So I stepped into that particular boardroom at 24 as most definitely the youngest, probably by 2 decades. I was the only female. I'm also openly queer. I was married to a woman. I'm now married to a man, but still very openly part of our LGBTQ community. And so I felt like the only, period.
Yes.
And so for me, it like propelled me. That was, again, part of my drive. Nothing's going to stop me. However, I also at that point showed up in a way I'm not proud of. all business, all the time. I'm not going to let people know the circumstance and where I came from. I was ashamed of it. I also didn't want to give anyone any reason to question me at the table. So I, again, I wouldn't say I was authentically myself. I built this great barrier and wall. I wore this mask all the time that was, again, very business driven without being very emotional, because I thought it was viewed as soft or weakness. And so I got a nickname as Iron Maiden, which I then had to work to be the kind of leader I would want to work for. So it informed how I showed up. And I'm going to say I'm not proud of that. It continued to get me promoted, quite frankly. But in terms of being the kind of leader I wanted to be and the kind of human I wanted to be, I needed to adjust.
Right. No. And I think, again, in my experience, I was a CEO at a young age of 25, and not for a huge board organization, but I did have a board. Mm-hmm. And I think you do gain experience as you get older with those kind of things. I mean, at least in my experience, where you become like, now that when I look back in my 20s, like I feel like I don't have any regrets, because I feel like it makes you who you are today, right? Yeah. If you didn't have that experience, then you wouldn't be the Victoria that we're sitting with today, right? But I do think, like, every decade you kind of see yourself in a different light, right? Absolutely. And you grow in your journey. So it sounds like you really grew, and that was from 24, you probably grew so quickly too, right? Like, and I think, again, you had to do that. The Iron Maiden had to be there, right, to get you to where you are today, to the leader that you are. And, I think your motto is no excuses, which I love. And how do you bring that to your team, your talks, and your personal brand all together?
Yeah, so no excuses for me, which, by the way, my children hate, and maybe even some of my team members, but it's something I hold for myself as well, which is, you can't control, all of the challenge or adversity that's going to come your way. You have a choice in how you're going to act or respond to it. And so that's a little bit more what I mean by no excuse. So stuff's going to happen. We can rationalize it. Like, let's understand how or why it happened. But then we have a choice in terms of how we're going to move forward, anchoring back to that goal or objective you have for yourself. And so that, for me, is, again, how I've learned and how I've taken that philosophy forward. And I've tried to, with what I refer to as whole human leadership. That's the evolution of the Iron Maiden, to the turtle, which is a nickname I have now, being resilient, but still soft on the inside. And so I try to bring that no excuses, not as a hard line for my team or my kids, but rather around the reflection we need to do and the choices we make going forward.
That's such a great answer. Thank you so much, Victoria. And the next question I have, you are such a bold, you always have such a bold, polished presence. Every time I see you, you just look so, just great and polished, and like you don't even have to think about it. How do you use fashion as a form of leadership and self-expression?
That is a good question, because I think about, I'm originally from Canada, but I got relocated to New York back in 2006. I was 28, I don't know how old I was, in my late 20s, let's say. And at that point, it was black all the time. So although I'd like to think I was fashionable.
Was that like a Steve Jobs move with the black?
Kind of, it was the power move, for sure, right? And I thought, New York, like I need to. So I embraced that. And although I think I was still very focused on fashion and style, again, it was that business all the time approach. And not sticking out potentially. I did enough as a young woman in business. And but then as I got much more comfortable with who I am, comfortable in my own skin, I started to show up in a very different way. And so for me, a lot of that's come with fashion. I still wear a lot of black, but with a pop of color. I am known for rocking some pretty cool sneakers when I do talks on stage, and often people talk later about my footwear choice, or that I wear a super funky blazer with graffiti over it and things like that. So now
I love that.
It is about being bold. It's about being unique and showing up in that way, not just in terms of how I present myself and speak.
Yeah, no, 1000%. I think it's all of like really how people remember you, how you show up, right? What you wear, because sometimes they can't talk to you. What you wear is like, hey, that she has a cool vibe. I want to get to know her. I want to follow her. I want to do all that stuff. And a question: how is it different? I know you said you've been in Miami about 4 years, right? So how has your fashion changed since coming here? Have you added more color, you think?
I have, and I've broken one rule that I was adamant I lived by between living in Toronto and New York and having 4 real seasons. I would have always said no white pants after Labor Day.
Yeah, they used to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now the white pants can be worn all year long here, for sure. And yeah, I've introduced a lot more color. I was never, by choice, I'm still not totally, and I see lots of amazing pink in here. That was never my color. But here in Miami, you can rock that. So I have this amazing Dior, like it was right when the Barbie movie came out, fuchsia suit. I would not have done that likely prior to moving to Miami.
I haven't seen you wear that, but I would love to see that. It would go with these, well, these are not fuchsia, but I got these during that same time because I just was like, oh my God, all these Barbie things, you know, like,
That's right.
we have to go crazy.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you are, LGBTQ and leader and mom and a woman of influence across different industries. What does visibility mean to you now? And how can we encourage more of it in the leadership spaces? Because I feel like it's being like muted, like everything is being muted. Because I mean, what you do is like what I stand for is elevating women and voices and people that are underheard. And I feel like we're being silenced, right? So what do we do now, and how do we stay visible?
I love, there was a saying when I worked for IBM, Ginny Rometty was the CEO, and she had this saying that you cannot be what you cannot see, which I love. And so I think, we need to be present, we need to be visible and show up in the places so that other young women or members of the LGBTQ community can see people like them in roles or places that they would aspire to be. And as a leader, it's incumbent upon me to create the safe spaces and to create the opportunities for women and other marginalized or underrepresented communities. And that might mean when I'm hiring, instead of hiring for the 10 skills, the requisite 10 skills that are listed, being okay with 7. But then my role as a leader is coaching to fill the gap and taking opportunity with people who come with very different lived or work or diverse experience.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And thank you so much for doing that and pushing forward. And I think we all ladies have to do the same.
Yes.
Who are listening. And you speak a lot about being an empathetic leader and empowering others through inclusion. How do you model that daily, especially in the high pressure roles that you have? And as a mom too, because I think that's a big thing too.
Yeah, I am. So the evolution from Iron Maiden to the whole human leader that I am today, I model that by showing up consistently. For me, it's not all business all the time. People do business with people they like, and they trust. And in building trust, it means being vulnerable. It means sharing personal or lived experiences that we've had and creating a safe space for others to be able to do the same. It's also about calling it out when we see that not happening. So I've been in environments where there are what are referred to as toxic top performers, people who, usually in sales, perform exceptionally well, but we allow them to come and operate and have incredibly poor behavior, usually towards their colleagues. We need to speak up and say that is not acceptable. You can have high performance and have the right kind of culture and environment that people want to work and thrive in.
No, that's a great answer. And let's talk a little bit about AI and how's it affecting kind of the leadership roles and people also underneath, because I feel like a lot of people are freaked out that they're going to lose their jobs. But how do you talk to people about this, and what do you do in your organization to kind of encourage people to use AI or not use AI?
Well, I work in technology consulting, so I'm talking about
to use AI,
AI all the time, not only in terms of how we utilize it in terms of the way we work to deliver for our clients, but also supporting our clients' journey on that front. And actually, I lead a large portfolio that gets organizations ready for change. And a lot of that right now has to do with AI. So one, there's a mindset shift. And so getting employees and organizations comfortable with what AI means for them, not resisting the change. It's here to stay. We're all working for technology companies, regardless of whether you are in a tech company like myself or not. So getting the mindset comfortable with that, building the change plan, but then also there's a piece around the skills. So how are you skilling the workforce to deal with the role that gets left behind, the work that doesn't get automated or by AI? What does that look like? Those require some different skills, more innovative problem-solving skills, the human, personal skills that need to come. So getting them ready for that and showing a path, to, the workforce of the future.
Yeah, no, because I think it's just going to make things better and more efficient.
Right.
So, and did you bring a pair of shoes that's your favorite?
I didn't bring them because I was running out of a meeting, but it was also very, very hard to pick one.
Because you have so many, but
what were you?
What was it? A pair of sneakers, or what were you thinking?
I do. It's funny because when I was coming here,
the ones you're wearing are really cool.
These are Louis Vuitton sneaks, which are great. They didn't go. So I debated. I thought it was super funky. I have another Louis Vuitton. Although I'm Dior. I'm all about the French designers. Louis Vuitton, of course, but Dior #1. Vuitton's probably #2. But I like Hermes, Chanel. I like them.
You like the French.
French. So I'm very much in there. So, but I have these very cool Louis Vuitton sneakers that look like shark teeth. The soles. So
I've seen those. Yes,
those
but
cool. They're black and didn't go with the outfit today.
No, but you could have brought them to look at the shows. That's okay. Well, now we talked about them, and
I did, and I'm sorry.
I'm sorry
I didn't follow the instructions.
It's okay. Was there a special story where you got those, or you just saw them and they were cool?
I got them in France. Actually.
Oh, really? Oh,
so my husband and I had gone for our wedding anniversary, and it was a very expensive trip. We decided we were going to the original Dior store. We were going to have lunch there, but we made the rounds of the stores, and I saw them, and I was like, must have these.
Yes. And what is your favorite Dior piece then in your closet? Is it the pink suit or is it something else?
I don't wear that one very often because it's so bold.
You could separate it too, like where the bottom and the top.
Yeah, my current favorite is actually a Gucci cardigan sweater that I wear. It was one of their multicolored ones, which in Miami you don't have the opportunity to wear
sweaters.
But I travel all the time and the airplanes are freezing. So it's my go-to. So I bring it almost everywhere. That is currently my favorite.
Love it. Well, let's do this quick little fire round. Power blazer or statement heels?
Blazer.
Yes. Bold lip or bold decision?
Decision.
Yes.
I'm not even wearing lipstick today.
Elevator pitch or fireside chat?
Elevator pitch.
Like that silk blouse or leather jacket or both?
I'm wearing the silk blouse.
And you could put a leather jacket over it.
Yes, both.
Love it. Running a boardroom or running a panel?
Boardroom.
Quiet confidence or loud resilience?
Loud resilience.
One signature accessory you always wear?
I almost never take my wedding band off. But the latest one is, I
noticed that. That's
my husband and I, for our anniversary, and he's not really a jewelry guy, but I explained what the love bracelet series were. Yes.
And we got them for the actual
wedding.
Yeah, just to have another option. So, well, Victoria, thank you for sharing your brilliance, your story, and your unapologetic fire with us today. You've given our community so much to reflect on, from showing up in every room with confidence to wearing your truth and legacy, like your favorite pair of shoes and suit. Before we go, can you leave us with one final thought? What does it mean to walk boldly in your own shoes?
It means to be authentic and true to yourself, with confidence in what that looks like, even if it's not the same path that others have traveled. I believe that growth and opportunity comes in a place of discomfort. And so it means to be bold, to walk in that means you stepping into that zone of discomfort, but that allows you to be bold and achieve whatever that version of success is in your mind.
Thank you. That's an amazing answer. And to our listeners, be sure to check out Victoria's books, her speaking events, and of course, this full episode. And make sure to subscribe and follow us. And up until next time, keep on showing up boldly, leading fiercely, and styling your story with intention. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
And have a good rest of the week, ladies.